Oh, I've stayed at Harrah's, Flamingo, Caesar's Palace. I've never stayed at the Imperial Palace. Oh, sorry. We're talking real estate with Matt Lee. We're also talking about Vegas. But Kingston, very big city for investment properties.
Yeah.
The rules are changing, Matt. Explain, first of all, what an investment property is.
Yeah, so if we're talking about multi-units, and we've talked about cap rates in the past, which is the percentage of your return per year. Today, it's kind of one of these things that, from the time you make the offer to the time that the deal goes firm, which means that the property's sold, there's a bunch of conditions that happen in between there. The one thing that I always say to people is you want to go get pre-qualified with the bank, and now it's at the point where you have to say to the bank, okay, what are you going to require? Because when you start to get into multi-res, sometimes they will require a roof inspection. They will require an environmental inspection, home inspections, but the big one right now that we've seen a couple times is structural inspection as well.
This is even though it was a property that was used for, say, housing students for Queens, an investment property, and that person is selling it and that person buying it is going to maintain it as an investment property.
Yeah, so it's going to be the same use, and it's, if you were buying this multi-res, whereas let's say it was a 6-unit, 2 bedrooms, it was all 2 bedrooms, and they were being used for working class students. It doesn't matter what it is. It's one of these things that it's all being used as residential use.
Okay.
A little while ago, there would be certain things that they would allow and they'd be okay with. So financing would say, okay, we want a home inspector to go in there, just like you would use at your house that has inspected buildings before, and they would take the whole day, or they would take 3/4 of a day. So they would take 2 slots out of their day and they would go through the building, and then you would have a good reputable company come in, look at the roof itself. You would have somebody look at the mechanics. Now it's one of these things that you have to go to the bank. You have to say, CMHC is going to require certain tests. Pynchon does the structural inspections. They will do the environmentals as well. The other thing is that we get into is fire. So what you usually do is you have a fire inspection comes from the city. People that own multi-res, they actually have an independent company usually come, and if you own a building over 3 stories, you have to have the fire alarm system checked every 3 months, and you legally have to have a fire drill once a year. So you have to post notice on every single door in that place, let them know that you're having a fire alarm done tomorrow at noon, and the meeting spot for this is at the back corner of the property in the parking lot, just for an example. Yeah. If that's not done, then you have to make sure that those requirements are done so that they can give you a certificate, because most of the time the new buyer is going to ask for a certificate of fire inspection because the insurance needs it. And it's just to make sure that people are safe.
Right.
If
you're a landlord, you don't want to deal with any repercussions of not having that.
You want to make sure that if a fire starts in Unit A, that Unit B, C, and D can get out of the building without opening the door and going into this problem. So therefore, they have certain regulations. These people are professionals. You start dealing with and they're really good people. I mean, I've been dealing with them for a long time. They will come in. They will give you some time to rectify the problems. I think it's a month. So I mean, the thing is like they come in, they give you a deficiency list from the city, and it says we are going to come back and we're going to inspect this a month from today. So therefore you have that amount of time to get all the things done, and then they'll come back in and they'll sign off on the certificate. Okay. So that structural, environmental, fire are the big things that I'd be looking at in today's buy.
Any questions? Ask your lawyer, ask your agent.
Yeah, give me a call. Yep. Be glad to help.
Okay, Matt, we will see you next week.
Sounds great.
Thank you.